This is Unit 5, Chapter 1, Lesson 3, Converting Unit Rates. Here's Mr. Romanovich.
Hey, we're going to be doing what Mrs. Benoit said. We're going to convert unit rates. If you remember, she and I had a bet about a video that I was making, and I thought I could get it in under 7 minutes, and I couldn't. And now I'm going to pay off that bet by wearing this hat throughout this video. So by the end of this, let's hit our target. We're going to be able to define what dimensional analysis is, and then we'll be able to solve a problem like this. A gull can fly at a speed of 22 miles per hour. About how many feet per hour can that gull fly? What in the world is dimensional analysis? Well, in dimensional analysis, what we're doing is we're converting a rate from one set of units to another set of units. For instance, if we have something that's labeled in feet per second, we would use dimensional analysis to convert that to something like miles per second or feet per minute. Consequently, what we're going to be using is unit ratios. And unit ratios are when you have ratios that describe the same size but in different units. So for instance, 3 unit ratios are here. 12 inches would be over, you know it, 1 foot. 100 centimeters would be over 1 meter. And 60 minutes would be 1 hour. So these are the type of problems we're going to be doing. A remote control car travels at 10 feet per second. How many inches per second does it travel? Now, when I analyze these problems, I'm going to be pulling out the information from the text, and what I would normally do is write it as I go or highlight it so that I can come back and find it. Enjoy your Wednesday night. So 10 feet per second looks like this. Here's 10 feet per second. Then what I want to do is I want to convert it to inches per second. So I use my unit ratio here of 12 inches per foot, and I'm going to multiply across. And when I multiply across, the numbers will work together. But what we want to do before that, though, is we want to see the cross simplification of units. That's important. So if we have feet divided by feet, those will cancel each other out. And that will leave us inches per second. So 10 times 12, multiply our numerators, that's 120. 1 times 1 is 1. Here we have just inches, inches. And here we have seconds, seconds. So what we found was our remote control car, which for some reason I'm having so much trouble saying, can travel at 120 inches per second. 120 inches per second. Please note the canceling of units. Now here's a two-stepper. These are a little more complicated, so make sure when you're doing problems like this that you are writing them clearly so you can see where you're at on the paper. You'll get lost in the units if you don't do that. So here what we're doing is we're doing the average speed for Team A is 10 miles per hour. What is the speed in feet per second? So we're going to have to convert miles to feet, hours to second. So we'll just start with 10 miles per hour. Now if we're going to convert miles to feet, we want to multiply that by the unit ratio for miles and feet. So that is 5,280 feet over 1 mile. Ms. Benoit, could you give me a calculator, please?
Yes.
Now we have to convert hours to seconds. So what I know is that there are 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds per minute, which gives me 3,600 seconds in an hour. Thank you. So I need to convert this to seconds, which means I'm going to multiply it by 1 hour over 3,600 seconds. There we go. Now when you look at this, we've got some cross-canceling to do here, or cross-simplifying as some of us call it. In units first, I see I've got an hour in the denominator and an hour in the numerator. I've got a miles in the numerator and a miles in the denominator. And now I've got it down to feet per second. No, I've got it down to feet per 3,600 seconds. So I'm going to multiply across, which will give me 52,800 feet over 3,600 seconds. Now at this point, we're still looking at an hour. This is an hour's worth of seconds. So I need to actually divide this now. And when I divide it with my handy dandy TI, I take 52,800, my numerator, divided by 3,600 seconds, and what I get is 14.6 repeating feet per second. Or if you wanted to estimate it, it's about 15 feet per second. Complicated? Yes. Doable? Absolutely. You can totally handle this. Just a matter of making sure you're setting it up in a clear way so that you can understand what you're doing and where you're going. Then canceling out your units to make sure that you end up with the right units, feet per second. Doing your multiplication of numerators, your multiplication of denominators, and then making sure at the end that you're not finding the amount of feet in an hour, but the amount of feet in 1 second. And we do that by dividing both by 3,600, just like we did with finding unit rates. So let's see if we hit our target. Can you define what dimensional analysis is? If you can't, go back to about 30 seconds into this video. You'll see the definition there. Write it in your own words and you'll own it forever. And can you solve? A gull can fly at a speed of 22 miles per hour. How fast is that in feet per hour? If you have any questions, you can rewatch this video, or you can always check your book or check with me or Mrs. Benoit. Thanks.